I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Illustrations by me.
So the second most requested thing for me to review were these Kuretake Granulating Granulating Watercolor. That's a mouthful right there, let me tell you. Anyway, so I'm going to review these 5 paints and do a painting with them. I'm going to swatch out all 5. There's some things that are a little strange here. So these, I think these have been around for a little while, at least for months. Maybe like 6 months. I don't know how long ago they came out, but I remember hearing about them from a long time ago. Someone said, hey, why don't you try using it? I said, okay, I'm going to try to use it. The problem was I couldn't get a hold of them because they were never in stock. Someone gifted them to me for Christmas. Wonderful. So I'm going to use them now and test them out. I've been waiting a very long time to test them. Here's the thing. I went on the website, and I'll share the link down below. There's a pigment database for all Kuretake paints. They have their own sheets that tell you the pigment that's in them and that kind of stuff. On the site, well, you'll see it flip up on the screen here. So on just the color chart here, you'll see that all these ones on the left, they have the pigments at the very bottom line for all, even the ones that say new. They have the pigments there. But as soon as you hit those granulating paints, that's the Aurora Red, and then the pink, orange, blue, and violet. And they all have this. They start with number 771, and that's how their sheets are. The sheets will say like the number, and then the pigments and the name and all that stuff. So, but you look at that, it's not there. There's nothing there. It's missing. I have no idea. They don't want to tell us, or I don't know what's happening. They should have all the other new ones have it there. They don't. So I don't know what's going on, but hopefully we will get that information soon. Hopefully they will update this chart and they'll tell us exactly what's going on. So, okay, so come down here. I'm going to show you some swatching here. Now I'm going to do this a little bit different. So I want you to be able to see as many things as I can here. And since there's no real pigment information, I'm just going to do this the best that I can. So I'm going to do a concentrated swatch. This is the Aurora Red, and that's what that looks like there. And then I'm going to go ahead and do something a little bit slightly different, where I'm just going to put a little drop of water, but I'm also going to put the paint into it a little bit more concentrated into that. Definitely spreads. That's wonderful. I'm so happy that it spreads like that. It just pops out. That's wonderful. That's exactly what I like to see. And then I'm going to go into it here with a little bit more water, kind of drop a couple more in there and see how that spreads. And then I'm going to put a drop of water in it as well and see what that does, because these things are supposed to separate. They say granulating. I don't know if they're granulating or separating. Any of the demonstrations that I've seen, I have not seen a whole lot of granulation. I've seen a lot of separation between the pigments, not a whole lot of granulation, that nice granulating, you see the texture effect. I haven't seen a lot of that, but let's see how this works here. So you can definitely see it's starting to separate beautifully. It separates wonderfully. You can see the blue come out. That's nice. Okay, let's move on to the pink here. Let me slide over a little bit here so you can see it a little better. All right, let's move on to the pink. We'll do a concentrated swatch here. And then I'm going to do a little bit of water here. Drop it in. Spreads wonderfully. I'm going to go back in a little bit with a little bit more water. I'm going to put a drop of water right in there and see what happens. See if that helps. It's a little bit concentrated for down here, so I'm going to pull some of that away. Alright, let's see what that does now. So again, beautiful color, wonderful color. Okay, we'll move on to the orange. Now I'm hoping this one is going to be good. You know I love orange. I want it to be a good orange color, although the red isn't really red, but that's okay. You can see the separation. You can see the red and the blue, and then they mix together to make the purple. You can see that pretty good. So this is supposed to be an orange, is what it's supposed to be. That's strange. Okay, I mean, I see the orange fringe a little bit as it gets a little bit lighter with the color, but let's see how this works here. So let's put a little dot here, We'll drop the color in here, and okay, so it moves a little bit, but not as much as I was hoping for there. And let me just drop a little dot of water in here and see what that does. So hopefully that orange separates from the green. I guess they're putting orange and green together. I don't know why you would do that like that. I mean, the mass tone is like a mossy green. That's great. But to have it separate with the orange, that's just strange. I don't know. Okay, now the blue, which doesn't look blue at all. This looks like another red almost, or a purple color. So this is supposed to be the Aurora blue. Yeah, well, no, it's more blue. I guess it's more blue. It already separates. As soon as it touches the page, it separates. Let's see if I can put a little dot here. I'll take some of that blue, put it in there, and of course it spreads out nicely. We'll put a little bit more here, and then I'm going to drop some water into it as soon as I can clean that off my brush. So let's drop some water into it. See, you can, it pushes it all apart. It all separates. Wonderful. Could be very interesting there. So okay, last one is violet. They all seem a little bit violet except for that green to me. But let's try this now. Oh, that is a bright violet. Wow, that's shockingly bright. Okay, little drop of water here. Let's get that in there. And spreads wonderfully, beautifully. We'll put a little bit down here. Let it go like this. Clean off that brush quick. And drop some water into it. Let's see what happens. So, yeah, these are beautiful. They're turning into these swirling colors. I'm gonna get a really good close-up now so you can see what's happening. If you can't see it, there's something wrong, but I'm going to just get closer anyway. But I'm going to wait for it to dry, so let me let it dry, then I'll zoom in and we'll see how it dries. Okay, now this is not 100% dry, but that's okay. So let's start with this Aurora Red here. It's a beautiful color. It looks much different than when I first put it down. All the pink kind of separated out, or it all separated from each other, but the green, it looks like, doesn't look like blue, looks like green, kind of pushed to the edges. And there's a little bit here in the middle, but most of it pushed to the edges. And then some of the red kind of concentrated in certain spots and then spread out in others. Very pretty color, very nice. This one as well, very, very pretty. If you look at them, the reds are a little different. This is like a, I don't know how to say it. This is more of a pink, and this one is more of like a reddish purpley color, but still you can see the red. And same thing, it looks like the green there is the same color green as over here. The green kind of separates out and gives it some nice texture. Very nicely done. Now on the orange is still this green kind of this is more green than that green, I think. But this green separates out, and almost all of it pushes out, just like the rest of these, and you see that other color, which is the orange. There's the orange, it's right there. So in the naming of things, and this is what I was looking at. So the red, you see the red pigment there. The pink, you see the pinkish pigment there. The orange, you see that orange pigment there. And does it continue down here? A little bit, yes, and a little bit no. So let me say the Aurora blue, this is mass tone. This is with the water in it. So really, really watered out. So you can see the blue kind of pushes to the outside, but it still blends. So let me see if I can point to it a little bit easier here. So right along, because these aren't 100% dry yet, but right along the edge here, it looks very light blue up here, and then it gets dark blue here, maybe where that's still mixing together. And that almost looks like, that's not the same orange. I can get them both on the screen. There you go. So this is a bright, like a light orange. This is more like a reddish leaning orange, like almost like an orange leaning red. It's like a very, very warm color here. And that mixes and makes it a little bit darker, but you can see the blue kind of separates out here and concentrates out. I do see, well, let me get to the next one and I'll go into that. This violet here, you can see this is pink again. So pink and a dark blue, and it's a different color blue than this one. So it's more like, that's almost like an ultramarine blue around the edge there. And this is more like a, I don't know, like a maybe a phthalo blue kind of color around the outside there, like a green shade, phthalo blue green shade around the outside there. So all in all, I'm seeing the colors separate. I am seeing some granulation. There is some granulation here. There's some granulation all along this side. I don't really see it here, but that doesn't mean it's not there. There's some granulation over here pretty heavily, and then there's a little bit in here. There's granulation. So, but in this part of the paint, it's faint. You can see a little bit, but it's faint. You almost cannot see that that's granulating. I would almost say that that's not a granulating paint if I was to look at other granulating paints. This one granulates a little bit more up here, and this one granulates a little bit more up here. But you can see it in all of them a little bit. So this is not at all what I was expecting for these. These are much different than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to... When I looked at other people use them, it looks very washed out, and these are pretty vibrant colors. They're not intense colors, but they're bright. You can see them without a problem. So I'm going to do a painting with these. It's one of the last pages in that other book that I have to fill, so I'm going to put these in here and we'll see how that goes. All right, let's get into the drawing. So I do apologize. In the beginning of the video, or in the intro, there was a vent that was closed. The air rushes past it. It makes a little bit of noise. I didn't realize that. So it sounds kind of whooshy in the background. I apologize. Usually I open that up so the air just comes straight through. It doesn't hear it, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. The first thing I want to mention about the paints is that, you know, they were not exactly the way that I imagined painting with them. So I wanted to make them separate in the painting. And I wanted to drop other colors in them. They mix very wonderfully. They move through the water very wonderfully. They interact with each other very wonderfully. Everything works very nicely. The problem is, or the thing that bugs me the most, is that no matter what, I could not get a lot of contrast in the color. I couldn't get a lot of the contrast in the paint itself. So I guess if you were layering these paints, it would maybe add to some of the depth and some of the contrast in there. But I did a little bit of trying to put some darker colors in. But really, it just never got dark enough for me. So I went back in with some black ink, and then you'll see me put in some contrast with some black ink, which is what I like to do anyway. But I wish the paints were a little bit stronger. They are a little bit washed out. But the thing is, in order to get the beauty out of these paints, you've got to mix them with a lot of water. So I had my water brush very wet all the time when I was using these. And it ended up where they were not very concentrated on the page, and they look slightly washed out. I still enjoy how they came out. I still enjoy how they work together. I still enjoy how they blended together, and some of the different colors kind of blended with the other colors, and it was very unique and very interesting. It was a beautiful painting. Beautiful paints to use with a beautiful painting. I absolutely love it. But I did want to go ahead and say that I don't think that they're strong enough. So what I would probably do is, I don't know if I would mix these with other paints. Maybe I can try doing that, because I have some other Kuretake paints coming up here soon that I wanted to show everybody. But they're coming up on the channel in a little while, but not just yet. But maybe I need to mix it with some other paints that are a little bit stronger, or maybe I just need to use them just with each other and then fill in the blank spaces where I need to with the dark black ink. So you let me know how you think it came out with in the end. Like I said, I did really enjoy them. They interact with each other well, and when you mix them with enough water, you get that wonderful color out of them. I wish there was a little bit more variation in some of the colors, but that's okay. It's I hope they do more of these. Let me put it that way. I hope that they do more of these granulating paints, or what they call in granulating paints. Some of them did really granulate. The more you add the, not the water, but the more that you add the pigment, it seems like, the more it granulates. So the more water you add, the more it separates, but the more concentrated pigment you have, the more it granulates, which is not the same as every other granulating paint. Most granulating paint is the more water you add, the more it granulates. This one, you only see the granulation in certain spots where the concentrated pigments are. That's where you see that granulation. But still, I had no problem seeing it. It was there. My goodness, please do not tell me to add more water for the granulation. Do you know that Schminka video where I did the super granulating paint? At least a couple of times a month. It's been over a year, I believe, since I did that video. I don't remember exactly, but I think it's over a year. And I every couple of months, or no, a couple of times a month, I get the same comment. You didn't use enough water. You should have put more water when you're using granulating paints. You didn't use nearly enough water. Listen, I didn't have any problem seeing the granulation. I say it 100 times. In the video I say it. I can see all the granulation from all the colors. I just thought that the volcano set that I really wanted to like was too weak. That's what I said. Some of the paint looked weak when it came out onto the page anyway, but then as it dried it kind of solidified, which happens with some paints. I've noticed that quite a bit. But the volcano set, that part of them, I did not like them, and that's why I gave them a not so wonderful review, was just because of that. But overall, the paints were fine. Now, get back to these. You add more water with these, you get less concentration. That's not what I want. I wanted to increase the contrast. So adding more water would not have accomplished that for me. So I'm not going to do that. I want to add more color is what I want to add to get more contrast. I had some light spots and I had some darker spots, but it just didn't get dark enough for me. They're still very beautiful. They're still very wonderful. I did enjoy them, but I would have to add a little bit of something else to them to make them good for me. Like the black ink, which is what I did. Now I have a couple of questions for you. So I did the border in this. See the little the washi tape? I did the border. Do you like that? Or would you rather, do you go to the edge of the page? Or do you like to use, I like it both ways, and I don't know which way I like it more. Sometimes I like it better with the little window, the little border that's around it. Sometimes I think it looks nicer. But other times I think it feels more constrained when I do that. Matter of fact, some of the other videos that I do when I use the white pen and I had the black part go outside of the border, and some of it was inside the border, the color was inside the border, but then the darker parts came outside of the border. That I really enjoyed. I like mixing the two. But I really do enjoy having that little border. I think I need to expand on some little spots or whatever in certain places a little bit more. But I did enjoy it. But I want to know what you think. What do you do? Do you put that little border around your drawings, or do you just let them sit wherever they are? Sometimes I don't even like to fill the page. Sometimes I just put them on there without the border and just put a little area of the painting in, and it's just somewhere on the page. So I like doing that too, but I want to hear from you. What do you like? Okay, so overwhelmingly everyone said, yeah, we like the second camera angle. There was a couple of people that said, hey, I don't think I want you to switch so quick. That's the only time it bothers me, is if you do like quick switching. So I won't do that, but I'm going to do a little bit of that in this video where I switch back and forth. The thing that I wanted to bring up is that in the next video you will not see that, because I recorded these two videos and that video way before I released these, and I didn't know if everybody was going to be bothered by it, so I didn't do that. In the next video you won't see that, but I will do that from now on because people seem to like it. Now for my next magical trick, what I really want to do is get into some live streaming. That's going to take me some time. I've been talking about this for a long time on the channel, probably like 2 years. it just, nothing was working right. I had to upgrade my computer a little bit. I had to upgrade my audio software a little bit. Things needed to happen. And so it took me a little bit longer than I expected to get to this point, but I want to start doing that. But I want to hear from you. Is that something that you're interested in? Would you like me to start doing live streams and just putting up a video once in a while and see if you can join in the fun? We could watch it together. I could comment on your comments and see how that goes. I've got to check out a bunch of different software, but I think we can move forward with that. So one of the things I need your help is now if you answer this question, I'm not holding anyone to anything. So don't get all freaked out about it. But here's what I would like to know. I have an issue with what I do for patrons over on Patreon. Right now what I'm doing is little behind the scenes videos for them and trying to it's usually like a 4 to 6 minute video, well, sometimes 5-minute video, usually around 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minute video. And I'm just going over, while I'm creating the video, I stop what I'm doing and I hit record and I just share a couple of thoughts I'm having. Or maybe if I do the intro and I do the swatching and I just do a little bit of talking and talk about the colors and talk about the swatching I did. But I don't show a whole lot on there because I don't want to ruin the video. I don't want to copy the video. I don't want to do the same thing I'm doing in the video and repeat the same information over and over and over. So what I'm trying to do is just kind of give a little overview, a little behind the scenes kind of thing. Now, that being said, I know other people do things. I don't like to put videos behind a paywall. So that little video that I do for them is just one little thing. I don't want to do like a whole, this is a drawing demonstration or a tutorial or something, because I don't like to put the videos behind the paywall for everyone. I don't like to do that. However, I want to add some kind of benefit to patrons. So I was thinking of doing something maybe a little bit more like live streamy thing, or just where we all get on there and just talk a little bit, and that's wonderful. Or we do maybe release the video a little like a day early. You release your regular video a day early or whatever. I've seen some channels do that, but I want to know what would make someone sign up for a Patreon. What would be a good benefit? Because up until even just then, I didn't really do anything for anybody, and people were just patrons because they wanted to be patrons, which is wonderful. I appreciate all of my patrons, absolutely do. But I just want to know, what do you think is a good benefit to Patreon? What would you look for if you were looking to sign up for someone's Patreon? What would you? Now, like I said, I'm not holding anybody to anything. Just because you do something, even if I did it, I wouldn't expect you to sign up. I'm not trying to put any kind of pressure on anybody. I just wanted to know what would make it worth it. And just hear your ideas. I don't know what I'd be able to do or what I'd have the time to do. I don't have time to do full videos, that kind of stuff. But maybe I could do something. So let me know. I'd love to hear it. If you would share that opinion, I'd be very grateful. And the people that I'd be interested most in hearing from are the people popping up on the screen here. They are patrons. That's what they do. They already are on Patreon. They already support me. I'm trying to now be involved with the videos. When I let the video go live, I'm trying to be there for it so I can talk to them while it's going out. So that's a wonderful thing. I don't know. I wasn't there before. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know that when you do a drop on Patreon that you can actually be there and watch it with your audience and talk to them while it's going on. That they call it a drop, a live drop. I didn't know that. I just thought, oh yeah, it's a live drop. I'm dropping a video. I didn't know that I was supposed to be there talking to people. I had no idea what I was doing. Most of the time I don't know what I'm doing. I should not be allowed to live without a license. But that's okay. Don't worry about that. So thumb up the video if you enjoyed these granulating paints, and I want to hear about them as well. Do you have these? Have you used them? Have you heard about them? It took someone introducing me to them for me to hear about them, because I didn't know about them until they said, hey, why don't you look at these? And then I had looked them up, and then they were always out of stock, and I couldn't get them. It took forever to get. And I just said, the heck with it. If someone gets it for me, that's fine. If not, I just couldn't deal with not being able to get them anywhere. You went on like eBay or something and people are selling them for like $100 a set. It's just absolutely absurd. So I didn't want to do that. But someone went and found them in stock on Amazon and got them for me. So I appreciate that. Okay, so now here's a little something I did put together, something for you. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go over here and I'm going to start swatching this out here. So let me get my things together. I'm not even a little prepared for my own show. That's okay, don't worry about that. That's not for you to worry about. That's for me to worry about. So I'm going to open these up, take these out here, and start swatching them out for you. So I do have... Okay, let me turn you a little bit. There you go. Oh, it's too far. There you go. I don't know if they're granulating or separating. Any of the sheets that I've seen, any of the demonstrations that I've seen. Is there anything else I wanted to say? No. I think I'm done here. If you would like to join our community, go to illustrationsbypete.com. You can come in, you can put your own artwork on the site and promote it. You can find some inspiration in the free reference photos. You can just use them however you want in your artwork. You do not need to credit me. Or you can come into the forums and talk to some people and maybe give some advice and maybe find a little bit of information that helps you. So come check us out. All right, that's about it for me. I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.